All right, Jeffrey, we're doing this.
I'm listening.
Okay.
It is a good thing I was doing this shit. You didn't have it turned on.
Got a point.
I won't comment.
Got a point.
Because I'm right.
I won't comment.
All right. Wait.
Let me be me. No, I'm just
Let
go
it.
ahead.
Waiting for camera on me. Okay.
Camera's on you. I made him laugh.
Take two.
I just say that and I see him just like going, like controlling his
Like he was over there trying to prevent from
Yeah,
from
my face
laughing.
was starting to get red.
Well, because I think I was like, the camera's on you. And I hear him go.
Welcome back, Nostalgia Hunters. Grab your wetsuits and your emotional support oxygen tank as we're diving headfirst deep into the water of the pressure cooker of a movie by James Cameron, The Abyss. This is a movie where the aliens are friendly. The Navy SEALs are very sweaty, and Ed Harris's CPR is a little abusey, but she lives in the end anyway. But is this a movie? Does this still hold the water? This submerged spectacle, is it good? Or do we just leave it dead?
You're like a little abusey, and I heard a little Gary Busey. It just pops up out of nowhere, those giant teeth. Like,
All right.
Does it still
Drive.
hold water? Are you serious?
Yes. Liquid oxygen, baby.
Oh man, those suits.
Let's dive in.
Those suits
We're
were
already
sweet.
in.
We're already in. Let's
We're
all dive in.
we're already in a little Gary Busey.
Deep down. So far down, it's confidential.
Okay.
We're going up. I'm sorry.
No, we're going down.
We're going down, baby. No,
Bring it down, Jeffrey. Bring it down.
So to set the stage, this is right after the first Terminator.
Actually,
Isn't it?
before you get to that,
Uh-huh.
you might want to bring up why we're doing this movie in particular.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know why we're doing this movie.
Because, you know, well, it used to be once every 10 years, but once every 5 years now, at least, because it's CGI, James Cameron has a new Avatar movie out. And a new one's coming out.
The way water was.
This one will be 4.5 hours long, right?
So we're going from the way of the water to, this is fire? Something?
Fire and ash.
Fire and ash.
Okay. It's going hardcore.
Come get some.
So that's the reason why.
See, in this one, it's going to be like Avatar, Airbender. Like they have the way of water and that fire and ash.
Well, he heard the song of
water.
ice and fire. It was like, I can do better than that.
Oh God, I'm having flashbacks to Guitar Hero trying to play.
Are you thinking of Dragon Force?
I am playing a Dragon
The
Force,
Fire
but
Flame?
Yeah, that one's the most impossible thing, no matter what you're playing.
This is my pick because then
the fire and the
thinking
flames. Is that
about
what it's called? Yeah.
James Cameron, and the last movie was Underwater that he recently made. And then for me, Abyss is just this nostalgic movie that I've seen several times.
How are you voting within the first 2 minutes of the
Different
episode?
phases. I've seen it at different phases of my life again and again and again. And it used to scare me a lot as a kid. I don't know why. I found it very scary.
The thought
I
of
can see
drowning,
that.
the thought
Yeah,
of drowning is
yeah.
just scary. The fact that you're down underneath the water and stuff like that, and you
Yeah.
can't do shit. Like even if you did find a way to escape and go up, you're still probably gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
And there was plenty of
up
death.
is not the
And-
solution.
Yeah.
ever.
Well, in terms of that, you said like you know how you apparently saw it like when you were really young because you said it scared you.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw this movie was not the time we just watched it, but it was less than a year ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
I
okay.
literally watched it just because I wanted to watch it finally, and then had to watch it again. You know, I think it was probably this past summer when I watched it, and then suddenly had to.
You
watch it
had
again.
to watch it this
Well,
like
sorry,
you
yeah,
speak as
I
if
had to. There was
you
a
were
guy
forced-
standing there, gun to my head. No, James Cameron was like, "You won't like this." No, I was like, I'd never seen it. I'd seen the clips because like we talked about this movie in science class when I was in like high school, I think. Talking
Okay,
about
I need to hear about that.
Well, because they were talking about like there are actual, I don't know if they actually have this as a real technology that works yet, but supposedly they were actually like working on a way for people to actually breathe like oxygenated fluids.
No, that was real.
That was real.
Yeah. And so
The rat actually was breathing oxygen.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if they've actually made it like to where like we're actually doing it or not yet.
No.
But back then they were talking about it. So in science class, when he was saying like this is the thing, he actually played that part of the movie for us with the rat being dunked under there and everything like that. So that was my first exposure to the film, but it was just that scene.
I remember
They showed the
being
rat
scared
thing,
for
and then
that
it showed
rat.
him like when he was like dealing with it too, and then that was it.
As a kid, I was scared for that rat in the movie because that was that dude's pet.
It's a rat.
So he just took off his shoulder, just like he's like, no, you'll be fine. And be like, no, dude, you guys are clearly crazy as fuck.
Well,
Give me my rat back. I was as a kid, I was just like that rat.
I'm
rat didn't
curious,
look
like
happy.
he didn't
did
seem to
not look
care that
happy.
much about his rat. Like I'm literally drowning your rat, and you're just like, no, stop!
Right.
What are you
That's my rat.
What are you gonna do against
thinking
trained
the
Navy
same thing.
SEALs
It's
that would
Navy
just be able to
SEALs,
murder
man.
you with their pinky?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Put an effort into it.
Yeah, it'd be like, what are you gonna do about it, dude?
It seems like he got snuck
Try?
up on pretty easily.
You may
Whacked
fail,
in
but at
the
least
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That was the only living creature that wasn't human, so they had to do it on the rat.
My first experience was very much a shocker for this podcast.
You saw
Really?
For the first time for this
We're
podcast.
talking about a movie you'd never seen before.
I know, it's crazy.
Shocking.
Yeah.
The cultured person I am. I can't believe I've never seen this one before. Well, the movie came out when I was 2 years old, so
But still, like it's one of those movies that is hung around. It's that. Well, actually,
Well,
we'll talk about it. But like,
I'm over here giving him shit. Like, you just shocking. I'm like, but to be fair,
Yours
I
was
just
less
saw it
than
in
a year ago.
2025. But I chose to watch it and then had to watch it again for this.
no, I had pretty much not even known of its existence.
Really?
Yeah. I don't.
Have you seen the Terminator movies?
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, the one that we had to talk about on this podcast.
I'm not sure if I've seen Terminator 3. I might have, but it's fuzzy.
Okay. I just
Well,
wondering.
once you get up to 3, like that one's kind of and then you don't really need to watch any of them past that anyway because they all.
What about you, Bonnigan?
I actually saw it when I was a kid, sometime after it came out for rent. We rented.
So he saw the grainy non 4K version.
We rented the movie, and I remember watching it as a kid, being pretty scared. Not because it was scary, but just because like there was a lot of things that were like super unknown. It was like the fear of being drowned. It was a very tense movie. Like there's a lot of things for a kid
The
to kind of absorb.
thalassophobia, bottomless pit.
I mean, the scene when they go into that first submarine, the nuclear submarine, and there's just dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
That was scary as hell.
Yeah,
Did you know those were real people?
Oh, and they were just like holding their breath
That dude literally had a crab in his mouth that he had to let go for the shot.
underwater.
Those were real people.
I did not know that.
James
but-
Cameron doesn't screw around with that.
I could have sworn those were like freaking mannequins,
those are
like silicone
mannequins.
mannequins or something.
I have, and funny enough, I've seen that. That was actually one of the things I was going to say. Is as a kid, it actually became very quickly not very scary because one, it's just a good movie, like it's very tense. But when it came out on like HBO or one of the pay channels back then, they also showed like a half-hour long making of. So I actually know of like some of the techniques they used to make the
Ooh, I want to
Abyss.
know about some of that.
And that was actually pretty neat. I just remember thinking that was awesome as a kid. And so it kind of like made it a little less scary, a little bit more fun. And so I've absolutely loved the Abyss since I was a kid, pretty much. But then I was like, going,
Hey,
well,
don't
am
spoil
I?
it.
No, I'm getting there. It's like,
Well, they've
but
already
then-
both put their
but
boats
but
out.
again, that's kid me loving. Now, does adult me love that? And then we'll find that out.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
For me,
kid me did like it.
yeah, I think I saw when first I saw it was like 7 or 8. And when I saw it again now, I think I hadn't seen it in probably 10 to 15 years. And then I saw it. So I had completely forgotten the subplot of the submarine and all of that, the early initial scene. I did not realize that the Michael Biehn was having the deep water sickness of like he was actually getting
the shaky
tremors,
hands,
and he was having like he wasn't just a plain bad guy, but he was like actually in distress, like mentally he was like unstable. due to the effects. And so I had no idea. I just
You never
thought,
picked,
he's a
up
bad
on that when you were a
guy.
kid?
No, I did
Okay.
not pick up on that when I was a kid. So I
What does
missed
that mean that we're killing people with mental issues?
What?
He died in the movie, didn't he? Or am I forgetting?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
he
you
did.
got crushed.
Yeah,
you got crushed in
yeah.
a submarine.
So I'm
'cause
like, he
they
wasn't
tra-
really a bad guy.
they-
He was having mental problems.
He was
and we
trying
just
to
killed him.
kill them.
But he was having a mental instability, and we just
he-
chose to kill him.
he technically killed himself.
Yeah.
And they also weren't like, they were sad. Like they were like, she even reached forward, like she was
Yeah.
gonna try to grab
There was a
him,
moment of
she was
like her like,
being-
oh shit, no, I didn't want
yeah,
to.
she didn't want him to die because she
Yeah.
knew he was sick. That he wasn't like a bad person, that he was sick. So that was actually handled.
But
I
the
thought
writer
in
clearly wanted him to
1989, I thought
die.
that was handled
Oh my
really
God.
well.
Yeah.
Can
What's
you
the
drop
writer
it?
feel about
You're
Can you please drop
you're
it?
just trying to dramify.
Wait, you're
everything.
asking if James Cameron
drama there?
Did he didn't write it,
was
did he?
not?
He
Yeah,
wrote it. He
Oh, did he
wrote
write
it
it?
and
Oh, okay.
directed it.
Yeah.
I know he directed. I didn't know he wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote it. Yep. The whole beginning of the movie, the submarine was so mesmerized by this that they go crash into the literal side of the, like an ocean cliff. To me, that was like
The whole beginning of the movie made no sense to me at all.
They were like, oh my god, it's going so fast. Let's chase it.
Are we already
Yeah.
in a talking story here? 'Cause-
Yeah, let's
all right.
talk story. Okay.
Sure.
We'll talk story, and we'll talk again production and like actually killing people again.
Maybe we should start with
But, yeah.
production, so I don't like tear the movie apart this early in the podcast. Let's start with production.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Everyone's got their color outs today.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, this is my third plus a shot.
Yeah, I mean, he already brought up like, how do you feel about killing people that are mentally? It was like, what? Did you not watch the movie? Like, they did not want to kill him, and he killed himself.
You have to say to be fair.
To be fair.
So you want to talk about production?
Let's do a
And
production
apparently
first.
that's going to be a good story because I've heard
Oh no!
at least my notes
It's
tell a
nightmare.
lot of crazy stuff that happened.
Well, no. I don't have a bunch of notes like you guys. I'm just going based on what I watched. I didn't.
No,
dive
I don't have
into
any
it.
notes either. I just
Yeah.
have
So
my, I have my
apparently-
lifetime
I mean,
experience.
so we can talk about whatever you guys have in the notes, but I'm just talking about production and like to what they do, like the process they went through to actually film all this stuff actually underwater and what they're doing. I mean, today would be a technological kind of marvel, and they were doing it back in the 80s. So I mean, like
I'll say
back
that-
then, it's even crazier, amazing that they were able to do this.
When you saw it in like for the movie, there were few scenes where you're like, oh, that's a little green skinny, and that animation looks a little crappy. But
Especially
they
the
did-
ending.
mostly-
Especially the ending.
mostly though, I felt like it looked really good.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't taken out of the movie by any like, oh, that looks terrible, because I'm like, that's probably a real submarine underwater.
they
They
And
did
it-
these real things, and they're literally underwater.
And it was
faked nothing.
1989.
Yeah, they did a
Yeah.
lot. A lot of it was compositing. There wasn't any digital. There was hardly any digital outside of like, well, the alien, the water.
The
Yeah.
thing that
And
like
that still looks good.
the thing that blew me away the most about this movie, you watch it and you cannot tell it was made in 1989.
Yeah.
It is not dated.
That was gonna be
anywhere.
one-
Watch the director's extended cut. You can tell when it was made.
Well,
The-
okay, maybe. Maybe.
I absolutely agree with that. Like like this, the Abyss could be released today, and
And no one would be the wiser.
nobody would be the one. In fact, they'd be wowed by it. In
Right.
fact, it'd be heralded.
Other than the fact you're like, I
good.
swear that guy's way older than he looks right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
They just had some great makeup in this movie.
No,
besides
it's
the obvious
de-aging
de-aging CGI, the Tron de-aging CGI, but yeah, those guys all like, you know, they whoever did all the special effects, and you know, James Cameron in general just has an eye for all that stuff. It's just
Well, and
that
like
will
the
always
water thing.
look good. It
Yeah.
will always look good.
The water snake thing that comes through was also, I think they gave them 9 months to make it. That's why it looked. And if you realize it or not, that is like the foundation of, is it T-1000, the Mercury guy
From T2?
Terminator 2, like the whole physics of like a liquid body thing. But they gave them 9 months to make that little.
That's one of the issues with
sequence.
modern movies today. It's not that there's a lot of movies that look terrible, because there are. It's the fact that they just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those guys just don't have the time.
Well, that's what
There's
happened
less-
with a lot of the
and
Marvel
when you
movies.
give people
like you
the
have
time,
you have three to 6 weeks to do all of the shots you need for this. Like, we need 4 months. No, you have 6 weeks.
Yeah, but they did. They were allowed to have all that time to do whatever they needed to do. So it also like I'm sure it could probably like that particular effect could probably be done a little better today. But even the way it looks right
almost
now,
40 years later, like it still looks pretty good.
Really good for exactly the type of effects they needed.
Yeah.
It looks super, and like especially when they shut the door at that one point and it just
just
drops.
That was real water.
I thought that was super cool as a
How they
kid
cut
and as
it
an adult.
together
I always
was
thought that
really
was
good.
super cool.
Oh, so it transitioned from CG to real water.
Real
at that
water,
point?
like flat.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Those
don't know
last-
how they
yeah.
did that specifically. I've always wanted to know, but like I always thought, like for whatever reason, that shot always stuck out to me.
There's just a bunch of guys all standing in a row above the camera. And they're like,
Buckets.
and go. They just
Yeah.
throw a bucket of water.
It's probably something as simple as that,
Yeah, or
you
a
know?
balloon.
Yeah,
balloon.
it's something.
But they'd
like
have to
that.
remove the balloon. This is just
No, when balloons pop, they're pretty much gone.
But
Anyway,
so they went to a nuclear water tank, and this was, I think, the biggest underwater set then and probably ever. Pumped water into it so that it got filled up with water.
I'm assuming this was a decommissioned nuclear water tank.
they put
not a
water
real
in the
one.
water tank.
It only had a few rads, you know. It was fine.
because it's a lot of water there to put in there to fill it up. Because I think they
I'm
needed
guessing
like
they didn't
30
do like
feet.
the inflatable pool outside when
Yeah.
you just wait all day for the hose to fill it up. There's probably something more than that going on.
And to make it deep sea, they have to like put a tarp on top so no light enters in. So now you've actually created dangerous.
Wait, so they
situation.
let bacteria and algae and all that stuff build up?
Did they?
I mean, it's chlorinated
Did
water.
Did they? Wait, did they
Very
use
chlorinated
Oh,
water.
Did
so
they
it's
use a tarp
chlorinated.
on the top, or they put black beads?
That's new technology, I think.
Black. I'm trying to remember because either the Hunt for Red October, which was made around the
Oh,
same
really?
time,
They had black
or like all they did was fill the top with black beads, so you can still like go to the top of the water, but the black beads were just there's so many.
Okay,
It cut out
you're
all the
saying
light.
that you're saying they put the tarp on it to block the light.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not-
I'm getting that now. I'm getting that.
yeah. No,
So that's
it's just a block light.
saying chlorinated water is important because even the water that Ed Harris had in his helmet when he's liquid oxygen, they can't do tank and tank because you can clearly tell if the water's not on his face and the bubbles are not coming out right.
Well, you're
So
kidding me.
he's
The
literally
water-
underwater.
Oh, he was underwater.
in the
you
helmet.
could tell from the shot. I didn't look it up, but I was looking for that to see if it was like maybe there was a thing in between. But you could see the water on his nose and on his face is going up. And I was like, how long did he have to sit in that liquid for these shots? Because, you know,
Holy hell, dude. Well, okay, so talking about production, at
Just
least in
talk
my
nightmares.
my
And
how
notes-
quickly could they be like, he's like, and they like that can
Right.
like get the stuff out. And,
in
oh.
my
happened.
notes, apparently Ed Harris almost drowned multiple times.
Right.
He nearly died during the liquid breathing helmet scene when the safety diver got caught on a cable. And so he was stuck and almost drowned.
remember
At
that.
one point, he was given an upside down regulator.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of air going in whenever he breathed, there was water that went in.
Jeez.
And so they tried to so that one I think was his main failed and he was like, oh shit. And then they were like, oh, here's a backup regulator.
Oh, God.
Backup one was broken. And he's like, fuck, I need to go out. The safety diver is like, I need to control this guy because he's panicking. While Ed Harris is like, fuck, I'm drowning. And he literally is like, let me go, punches him, and goes to get air.
Ed Harris is a freaking hoss. If he punched out a safety diver whose job was to like do that, then still
And
was
underwater, like,
yeah.
So
he's a
apparently,
bad man.
also James Cameron
Yeah, he
almost
himself.
died.
Oh jeez.
The assistant director that was monitoring Cameron's oxygen tank went off clock, and so wasn't there.
and just left without anyone monitoring how much oxygen.
Yeah.
he had.
Or did James Cameron? Oh wait, what? James Cameron was still filming?
I
something?
guess
Or did
so.
James Cameron just go like, oh, I
Or
can
maybe
film
got
this.
tried to
it's
do like an
more-
extra tank
yeah,
or something.
like-
I
like
think
a
it's
James
James Cameron himself being like, I know this shit. I'm going to go down myself.
And so he almost drowned. He noticed that he ran out of oxygen, stripped all his diving gear, and tried to reach the surface just on his own as quickly as he could. And then, guess what happened again? The safety diver gave him a faulty regulator, and he sucked in water.
What the hell is wrong with this production? How in the hell does this a guy? Your whole job is literally just to sit around and give somebody oxygen if you see them in distress, and then you give them water.
They believe too much in the movie. They're trying to give oxygenated water.
My God.
Okay, and my favorite. So Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio.
Mastrantonio.
So the CPR scene with the boobies. At some point, Cameron ran out of film, but was still rolling and kept directing, like throughout many different takes, kept directing Harris to slap her. And like the entire time.
And then told her we need to do it again.
That he was out of film at the time?
I don't know if, I mean, he probably wouldn't say, but like, I don't know.
I mean, it'd be like a freaking, what's a sadist or whatever. It's just like, I know I'm out of film, but slap her. I'm like,
yeah, apparently that was a pretty big emotional breaking point for
is that
her.
a mess?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, because that was pretty great. That was pretty great.
Ed Harris refused to talk about the movie
For I don't know how long.
forever. Yeah, because he just was like, they nicknamed it the Son of Abyss or the Abuse.
The abuse.
The abuse. Yeah.
It was.
Man, I've heard about all these stories, but I guess I didn't hear about the regulators being faulty. Two of them, like 2 different times, being faulty. Like,
I heard about the regulators on Tron.
But yeah, terrible production. Yeah. Everyone came out of it totally traumatized.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
That's
never
what I'm
doing an
getting
underwater
from this.
movie ever
and based on the director's cut with multiple endings, they probably didn't even know what the hell movie they were making until they actually saw it either.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder, like, maybe y'all can enlighten me, how many big budget films there have been that actually did use underwater sets?
Hunt for Red October, but that wasn't like because they're in diving.
But would that be an underwater? Because like I've never seen that movie, but how much were they underwater? I thought they were in a submarine the whole time.
I guess you're right. I guess they were underwater.
The Sphere, I think. Do you know this?
Yeah, that's a shitty movie though.
Yeah, it is. It's a decent book, but the movie is garbage.
Michael Crichton.
It's a good
The Sphere
movie.
and
Yeah, sorry,
Congo are both
good
good
book.
books.
Yeah.
Shitty movies.
Shitty movie. Yeah. Insane cast.
Yeah. Right? Like the
Lawrence-
Sphere has like an insane cast.
Fishburne.
It should have been a home run, but no.
Yeah,
no.
and it's like shitty movie. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think
So-
there's
I don't know. I've never thought to look into it, but I don't think there's that many.
No.
Speaking of the cast of The Abyss, pretty amazing all around.
Well, not
Like-
only the cast, but like their acting.
Yeah,
Like,
I
this
mean that
movie
the
was just
cast, the
top-notch.
acting, like the people they got, the
Yeah.
acting in general, like everybody played
So-
their part so well.
I saw this, and I saw like the how could it be shittier was what was that movie? Was it Andromeda when they sell oil miners to go break up a asteroid?
No, that
Do you
was
remember that movie? Ben Affleck? Armageddon.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so that movie was like, we can't train astronauts to be, miners, but we can train
Miners.
Miners to be
astronauts. So we're going to send these guys there. Here, I think it was.
Yeah, it's really hard to teach somebody how to turn a drill. It's,
Yeah. So here it was a lot more.
Bruce Willis said it.
Realistic.
More
Yeah.
realistic here, where they were just like, hey, we don't have time. There's someone down there. Let's go use it.
That being said,
It was still.
I don't understand why. What's his name? The head guy, Ed Harris. What was his character's name? Bud had to be the one to do the final deep dive. Why was it him and not one of the Navy SEALs? I don't get why it had to be him.
Because the only one that wasn't like on the SEALs side that they could trust, he was hurt. He was shot.
So was it that they didn't trust the SEALs,
then-
so they didn't want?
I think it had, if I recall, it had to do with he was the most experienced diver.
Yeah, and also Bud was definitely the most
How could
experienced
the
diver.
SEAL not be an experienced
So
diver?
They didn't trust the SEAls.
They didn't trust them. Like that was the thing. It's like it was them versus the SEAls, except for that one.
They're the ones that sent the
but they-
freaking nuke.
But they kind of came to his side once their crazy
that
guy
one guy who
died.
hurt his head that helped him out. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, but they weren't going to send him.
I guess not.
And yeah, because he was hurt, and Bud just kind of like is like, it's got to be me. you
Yeah,
know?
that'd be me. Yeah.
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's gonna be me. But yeah, it was that was it made
gonna
sense
be
to me, I
May.
guess, with based on who was left.
I don't know. For some reason, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I was like, why him? Why did it gotta be him? He just barely got out of this harrowing situation where his wife literally died, and he had to bring her back to life. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna go down and risk my life now.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. How fucking ballsy was that?
Yeah.
What she did, she knew what she was doing. She's like, well, you had the suit on.
Yeah.
I have to drown. The water is cold enough. It should keep me cold enough for my brain activity to slow down, and then you could resuscitate me on the other side. How fucking insanely ballsy do you have to be to do that?
But I also had a huge problem with that scene. It was pissing me off because, yes, you're going to purposely drown and the water will keep you cold so that you can be resuscitated. Makes perfect sense. Like, the ballsy as hell, like you said, but I get it. Okay. Why did we need to stay in the sub, wait for you to drown, and then leave? Why could you take a big breath? I take off with you. You drown on the way, and we save 3 minutes of death to where you could have potentially been revived quicker.
I thought the same thing, but the way I justified it to myself was after they decided that, she started panicking. She was freaking scared. Didn't really want, like, her in her mind. She was like, I don't want to do this, but I got to do this.
But even if they were going to do that, she could have held her breath for a good minute and a half or so, got a ways, and then she starts to panic. Stop there.
You already know why.
That saved you a minute and a half of time.
You know why? Drama. Drama. That's it. It was an artistic choice.
Getting past anybody the director
anybody who would have actually been in that situation. Yeah, you're right. But for the dramatic effects of seeing your wife die in front of you,
if you're wanting to be in the movie,
but then she also was like, no, I don't want to die, and then but he can't even hear her. But so it's just like a voice to nothing. Only she can hear it and he can't. And like that kind of resonated with me. Like that will always stay with me. Where if it would have done it the realistic way, nah.
But you could have still had that scene with realism.
No, because you would have just taken a breath and gone.
Yeah, but along the way,
everything I just described would not have happened.
Every shot in this fucking movie is like 20 minutes long. So you could have still had the shot along the way where they pause and she's freaking out.
Exactly.
And you can't hear her scream, but there's like bubbles and stuff. And he's in the freaking helmet going, no! You know, like that. You could have still had that moment.
The drama could have happened.
But logically, it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, just the way it was done has always stuck with me.
To me, it was justified because I thought at that point her logic went away, his logic went away, and it was just them.
It was just raw human like terror.
But my logic is I want to save you, and the less time you're dead, the more likely I can revive you.
I totally get it. I think it went away in the moment.
I wouldn't be hung up on that.
That happens sometimes in
I would
life.
be hung up on I'm trying to save you. So
I would nah.
But I mean, I think that was also emphasized by like a number, like the shot dragged on, and it felt like it dragged on because of that. Like, why are you just sitting there? Get to the other freaking thing.
It didn't drag on for me.
It did for me. But here's the thing: the first time I ever watched this, it was the extended edition, the special edition,
which
whatever.
I always tell everybody.
And it took me 3 freaking days to watch that.
Never watch the director's cut of The Abyss. Everybody out there, The Abyss, watch the theatrical cut first, please.
But then I watched the theatrical cut this time, and it still felt anciently long. Like it just went on forever. It took me 2 days to watch it.
Probably because you're sitting there just like doing the same thing from what you experienced before.
Did you take your phone out?
No.
Admit it.
I didn't. But I'm saying like there's so many scenes that just go on and on and on and on. I'm like, you could cut this scene in half easily and get the exact same effect.
I guess we'll have to talk about other scenes because I don't agree with that at all.
Essentially, almost any of the scenes like under like I don't remember exact scene, but I know there were scenes like where there's stuff going on underwater and it show underwater and then show them and they're just sitting there staring at the screen. Then it show underwater, then it shows them, and then underwater and it shows them. And I'm like, do we have to cut back and forth so many damn times? And then when they're under like water, showing like something move forward, that like when the big thing was being like dragged towards the edge, that scene went on for like 2.5 minutes.
But the tension,
it didn't build tension. It got to the point that I'm like, hurry the hell up.
It built tension for me.
You definitely have like ADHD or something,
yes,
man.
no,
like you have undiagnosed ADHD for sure.
Okay. Well,
you have no idea.
No. But here's the thing. You're right there. I agree with that. But it has nothing to do with like, oh, I'm sitting here too long per se. Because there are movies I've watched that are 3.5, 4.5 hours long.
30 seconds.
And I don't feel like it took forever. Like it's gone like that. But to me, I'm like, when you're trying to build tension like that, if you just sit there and it's very slow and just like,
No,
after a while, it's like,
So
okay.
I think those kind of shots, those kind of scenes are not for everyone. It's not going to appeal to everyone, and you're obviously one of the people it just didn't appeal to.
my take on it is there's the balance between James Cameron going, "Fucking hell, I built this set." Underwater.
You're gonna
I
love
want to
every
show
second.
as
I
much
think
of it.
that's exactly how he is, though.
Right?
If I
He's
go back
like,
and
I need to show this shit because he's like, I did all of this and I need to have more time here. So there's also a moment of like, I want to show the spectacle of like, oh, that thing's falling down, and then they see the whole pipe building around them, the cable building up, and then it falls next to them.
As they
and they're like,
slowly realize,
and then
wait.
it falls down
And
further.
then it
So I
hits
get
and
it.
starts
You're like, hey,
dragging.
that
yeah,
could've been-
it just goes on way too long. And
Yeah.
I feel like he does that in a lot of his stuff. Most of his movies, there's plenty of scenes where I'm like, that went on way too long. But there's some that doesn't mean he doesn't always do that. Like T2, I don't feel like
Also-
that one's too long on, and it's like the exact same amount of time as this movie.
The
But this
only
one feels
thing-
like it is like an hour longer than T2.
Is
the
T2
thing-
really that long?
It's 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 20-ish minutes.
Yeah.
You're right. I never
See, it
felt
plays
took
way
that-
different.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing about that whole thing, talking about logic, is every ship is going to have an internal release latch for something like that. They didn't.
Right? Why did they have to be outside the ship
They would
on
be-
another?
They were in the command console, right? And so there were always going to be a button of like, hit that, get
Why
it
not?
out.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you have that?
Yeah, and I don't care what the hell your wedding ring was made out of. It stopped a freaking door that's meant to come out immediately, shut
Hold
the
the
door, and
pressure
hold
of
the
incoming
water
water,
in.
yeah.
But your fucking wedding ring stopped it. Bullshit. And
titanium.
also, you got your
It's
hand.
titanium.
You're in there doing
Twin set, I
this,
think.
and you got the ring just in the right exact spot it needed to be to stop a door and not rip your fingers off. Bullshit.
But his marriage and his belief in his marriage saved
his
him.
life.
It's
And
okay.
it's more of a metaphor
Right.
Yeah.
for what that was, because that whole subplot between him and belief in that he can fix things with his wife. When his
Well-
wife is also very logical enough to choose to die, has moved on, and he's trying to pull her back in. Like that whole subplot. I actually love that too. I don't know if you
Surprise,
guys...
surprise, James Cameron was going through a divorce. And that movie.
We seem to
So
talk about a
she
lot of
is-
movies where somebody's going through a
She
divorce.
is called the Stone Cold Bitch, and she calls herself that. Even her character entry, I was like, is she with the Navy SEALs? Is she like a corporate? What? Like when she, I
When she-
couldn't,
yeah,
I
when
couldn't
she
even
first came
believe
in,
it
yeah.
was the same person. I was
Yeah.
like, where was that crazy lady who walked out of the helicopter? Because when she dives in, she's again in this comfort clothes and is diving in with barefoot and the whole thing sitting down. And I'm like, was that the same?
Yeah.
And I had to like replay it, and we were like, "Oh shit, that was
The
her."
same moment, yeah.
Why did she come in like a suit like that? What the hell was? Why was she with the Navy SEALs?
Because she was that was her rig. It was taken from her.
Yeah, but why was she with
so
the
she
Navy
was
SEAls?
angry.
It's not her
She
rig, it was
mad
sold.
because they
Because they were all coming down at the same
She
time.
built
okay.
it.
I don't
You
know.
know, she designed it.
Well,
She was a woman in the 80s who was an engineer who has to have that kind of mental fortitude to deal with a bunch
No,
of dickhead dudes.
I
here,
get the
So I get
justification.
that.
I get
Like
the
her,
justification.
like everything.
speaking of her coming down with him, though, so like, here's another big issue I had with the story. I hate when storytellers can't just trust the audience to connect the dots. So when somebody is showing something at the beginning of the movie where they were talking about the whole sickness, and they went on for a long time talking about the whole sickness thing and how, like, if you don't take the pressure well, it feels like the director's going, hey, pay attention, because we're going to talk about this later on again.
Wait a
I'm
second.
like, I don't need that much.
Time out. You're talking about this. You didn't even realize what's his face that was trying to kill them was sick.
I did. I was
Those
literally
weren't
making
your-
fun of it.
Yeah,
So whatever he
No, no,
did,
no,
worked.
I don't know.
No, Andy, it was
he
Andy.
didn't
Andy.
realize he
No,
was
it wasn't.
sick.
It was
No.
Andy.
Or you?
It was Andy in the past when he was a kid.
Andy when he
I
was
did
a
not
kid.
realize.
Yeah, oh, that's what I was. I was like,
thought
it
you were
was not
saying
me.
you
I
didn't-
knew the whole damn
because
time.
I was looking at you when I was explaining. I was like, going, dude, he was literally like he
No,
wasn't
no, no,
making
no,
fun.
I
It was
fully
the
understood
sickness,
that.
which she understood.
Because his
Okay.
hands started doing that.
Having said that, the amount of exposition was mostly okay.
Yeah.
They didn't
I mean,
try to like. It's not a Christopher Nolan movie where it's like, okay, here's a 15-minute lecture on how time travel works, and he just is like, you mean take a paper and like so. it was a lot more controlled. And
But
she was
rewatching this made me think about the Fantastic Four movie that just recently came out because I saw it dropped on Disney Plus
Yes,
around
it
the same
did.
time as I started
Yeah.
watching this, and they did the same thing where like they go on for a long time. Where it's like, look, I'm making things like vanish and appear in these different places and do this stuff. Good thing I was doing that at the beginning of the movie because now I'm going to use that against Galactus. I fucking hate when people do that in stories because it just feels like a cop out. Like you didn't have any good ideas, so hey, let's do a thing like.
You don't like.
There's foreshadowing, and there's
I was-
like, hey, there's a bucket of it.
Okay, I was about to say, it's like when you don't like foreshadowing because that's actually good writing.
I'm fine with foreshadowing, but when it's a
Foreshadowing-
giant bucket of foreshadowing, I'm just like, seriously? Come
Yeah,
on.
but of course, if you make it too subtle and every 70% of your audience
Then people
misses it,
complain
I,
that it's
people complain.
I'll give it. There is a
So-
balancing act, but just when I feel like this went way too far, where I'm literally getting slapped across the face.
But it
with
went it went way too far with like one thing. There is a lot in that movie.
I would say
I
also
mean,
Oh, God,
also
here we
this
go.
is one of the first deep sea movies. I don't know how educated Cameron thought people were about like going down and coming up and the whole decompression and the pressure related things.
I had no idea.
He
As a
probably thought like I should educate.
there was
If
no
you-
internet. There was no way to look it up. There was no way to know about any of this in 1989. My parents had no clue about it. We lived in fucking Kansas, so of course we knew nothing about anything like that.
Deep
Because
sea diving.
the deepest sea we had was like 10 feet, which was a lake. That was about it.
If you want to talk about cop outs, though, at the end of the movie, when
Oh,
they
the
all
aliens
get
did
out
something.
and they're like, "Hey, we should be dead. We didn't decompress."
yeah,
must have
that
done-
bothered
the
me
aliens
too.
must have done something.
Yeah. That was
boy.
that
Yeah.
was a big cop out.
That was literally the other thing I was going to bring up, but you beat me to it. Well, you're just like, that's the other one of my bullshit because they went on and on and on about how long it's going to take them to decompress when they come back up,
Yeah.
and they just walk out. Huh.
But it
I was
is-
like, you could have just not talked about decompression. If
It
that's what
must
you're
have
going to do.
been
But we're-
aliens.
But we're also talking about aliens that have been under the sea, under that amount of
Under
pressure
the sea.
for that long, and they basically walled off the water and had air that Ed Harris could pull his helmet off and breathe. So
They
I mean,
could
is
control
it that
water.
is it that hard to believe that they could reverse the
no,
the
it's
symptoms?
not. But it just seems
No,
so.
I
Deus
get
Ex
it.
Machina.
Like, I'm with
Yeah.
you on that, but I would not damn the movie for it. But it is funny that they had to say that line, and they probably threw that in because people are gonna be like, "Wait a second,
They were probably-
you spent all this
yeah.
time saying people are gonna do this, so they had to."
But if
throw
they
some-
left that spending the time saying they were going to do this, they could have ignored that whole thing because nobody would have questioned it.
well, nobody would have known. Well, people would have known and then pointed it out how
Yeah, people
how
would have
wrong it
pointed it
was.
out,
Like
yeah.
you can't just go up like that. Why didn't you just go up? Everybody would have been like, "Why didn't you just go up?" Because nobody would have known in '89.
Dude. Also, James Cameron is uber obsessed with deep sea diving. So he
Was this the movie that kicked it
Probably-
off?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was probably very, very particular about getting those details right. About like what is the life like at that.
I don't care if you're
So-
breathing liquid. If you would have gone down that
Mhm.
fucking far, your body still would have went.
Well, they put him in what looked like a spacesuit.
Because
so
like,
Yeah.
that
if you
was
went
their-
down breathing water, it wasn't just his lungs that were going to collapse. His whole body would be crushed. I don't care that you're breathing liquid. You're still going to get crushed.
I mean, the camera
It's
literally got
thousands and thousands of pressure per square inch when you get down that deep. You are going to be liquefied.
Hey, but he is such a tough guy. that
but I
he
have liquid
won't-
in my lungs, so it makes everything good.
He's pretty tough.
he just went like toughness.
I am
Wait,
actually
Maybe
curious
it was aliens.
I am actually curious about the science behind that. Like, how
Yeah.
does that work? Like,
Yeah.
would that actually help? Is that actually a scientific thing that, like, oh yeah, it would let you go down like another 500 feet or something like that? I don't know.
I have no idea on that. But I just thought it was funny. Like, you see the whole, like, subs go like that. But he doesn't, nor does any of his computer gear get crushed just because he has liquid in his lungs. I'm like,
The Navy SEALs had the suit that just to send him that deep. They didn't know how deep he was going. Also, they just were like, "Oh, he went somewhere."
And how deep did he end up going? It was like
there was like
16,000 or something.
It was-
16,000, and I
quite a
was sitting there
ways.
going like, "That's a little." Like, couldn't they have just made it 5,000
Right,
or
couldn't
something?
it
I'm
be?
like,
Yeah.
this is- So he's near. I don't know how deep Mariana Trench is, which is probably 20 something. So maybe he was like closer to the bottom, and hence the glow. And they were like, "Oh, he's hallucinating," and then he tries to cut the wire. There's a little bit of tension. I don't think that was needed. Where he's like, I don't know what I'm cutting, and then he cuts it. And he's
he
like,
almost cut it, and
almost
then
cut it.
switched to a different one, and
exactly.
then cut it.
It's like I felt that one for me was like, we didn't need that there.
See, the better ending of the movie, it would have been like he kicked the wrong one. Boom!
Oh,
And-
jeez.
So the aliens, the extended edition is different, right?
The
In
ending in the
here-
extended edition is better-ish.
yeah, in
Or at least
here,
it makes more sense, I've heard.
this movie had
It's less abrupt. You actually get more of an ending.
Yeah, so the extended edition is like an extra like 28 minutes long. So all those freaking scenes that I'm already saying are too damn long or even fucking longer. But just the actual ending, the extra scenes that are missing is like maybe 4 minutes. To me, I'm like, that should have been included in the theatrical edition. And then if it was a runtime issue, take 4 minutes out all those long ass fucking scenes earlier.
I did
And
not.
you get the same runtime. But to me, I'm like, the ending becomes better because like when he's all like, they're showing him like what he typed and they're just like, huh, like what the fuck does that matter? But with the actual extended edition ending into what they're saying why they didn't kill everybody, now it makes sense.
I actually disagree with that. I did not like the extended edition.
Okay, wait, hold on. So for our viewers
Mhm.
and for people like me that have not seen the extended edition,
Oh, you didn't watch
please,
it again?
no, I haven't. I wasn't able to see the extended scenes. Please explain what.
I can't
Additional-
say all the scenes. Most of the scenes I think are just like longer shit. And they're like, oh, there's more backstory. You're like, it's just longer ass fucking scenes. But the ending when he's in that like little water, like Noah spread the seas, section where he's breathing. Sorry. Wait,
That was Moses, but keep going.
Moses. Yeah.
what did I? Oh, I said
You
Noah.
said
Didn't
Noah?
I said Noah.
No, I was just getting
They
into
both
the
had
boat.
some shit to do with water. But anyways, no, yeah, Moses.
Noah, get the boat.
No,
Yeah.
when they're like talking to him, they end up like sending these giant tidal waves everywhere because they're essentially acting like they're going to murder humanity. And he's like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" And they start showing him all these clips of like nuclear bombs and war and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, "Oh my god!" And then the water just stops. And there's like tidal waves that are like, as big as the Empire State Building, just sitting by, the what's that
Coastline.
Golden Gate Bridge
Yeah.
and everything like that.
He's gonna
and
wipe
against
out
the beach
everybody.
and everything like that, and just sitting there. And they're like, "Oh my god!" And then the water just recedes, and he's like, "You could have just killed all of us. Why didn't you do it?" And that's when they start showing those messages saying like, "Oh, I knew this was only a trip. Essentially, I know I'm going to die, but I'm doing it to save them." Like,
Yeah.
and that's why they give
So
humanity
the
another
aliens
chance.
thought that humans were just out to destroy the world, but then they realized
And they
that
were
there
just
is
like,
some
"Let's get
compassion.
rid of
Some
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
They're
some good,
gonna send a
and that's
nuclear-
what
That's
stops
so
them."
crazy because, like, in the theatrical version, the aliens are like pure, innocent, good-natured.
It's Switzerland, basically.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we found this
They
guy,
were
so
just
we
tra-
saved you.
They were
but-
just hanging out by
Yeah.
themselves. I actually didn't need the whole extra bit where they're going to kill everybody and all that.
The only
Like,
reason I think that's
I thought that
better-
was all like horrible because it was just like where you're like going, all this other stuff should be cut out. I'm like going, that whole ending is terrible.
Well, let
Like,
me
it is
explain why I
terrible.
think it's
It
better.
is so preachy.
It
and
explains a point to the aliens being there.
I don't need
If you
that.
take that out,
Oh,
there's
this is
no
my
reason to
point,
have the
too.
aliens there at all. You could take the aliens and completely out of that fucking movie, and there was just a submarine that crashed. They were going to try to save them, and the storm got fucked up. They got stuck down there, and they had to survive.
One of the
You
hallmarks.
didn't even need the aliens.
One of the hallmarks of good sci-fi is you don't have to explain everything, and
Well-
that's one of those things that just absolutely does not need to be explained in that movie.
And I think I agree, and I think they could have gone farther, actually,
Yeah.
like Jeffrey's saying, and cut more of the alien stuff out, and just have them like discovering this, and like having to deal with all the tension with the seals and stuff, and then they find a way to get out themselves, and like that's the end, right? And there's just a little bit of like, oh my god, there's this whole other civilization under the water, but we're not going to be able to really address that because we're trying to keep ourselves alive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I
Well,
get
'cause
it.
I'm like,
It
why
probably
did the
could have been
aliens
an,
help
it could have
make
been a
that
quickly
submarine
paced-
crash if they weren't being baddies? So now you got to take that whole scene out too. But if you take that whole scene out, why were they down there to begin with if there's no submarine crashed? So like if you start taking that one little piece out to me of that ending, starts making the rest, and that's what was my problem with the story. It makes the rest of it like, well, what's the point of this? It doesn't matter anymore. So take that out. Well, if you take that out, this doesn't matter anymore. So take that out. And it gets to the point, it's like, what's the point of this fucking movie?
They were, I don't need that explained. They're like,
I'm a storyteller here, so
okay,
story
okay.
is a huge piece of.
I also love story. This
I'm
is
not
one
saying
of
you
those
love story like
things.
like I'm a storyteller.
If somebody would let me talk for 2
No!
seconds, please. I have been
No!
talked over about 3 million times.
Go ahead.
No, anyway, just like that whole thing is like when I don't think they needed the extended cut because the aliens were Switzerland. They were literally just down there. It doesn't need to be explained.
Right,
Good,
yeah,
good
yeah.
sci-fi. Basis for good sci-fi is you're not going to understand everything. It's the basis of science. It's learning. It's like, hey, I don't understand this thing. It exists. I don't know why yet. I don't need that for my reality quite yet. And like good sci-fi stories, in my opinion, can have that. It doesn't necessarily say you can't explain it, but I'm just saying like I'm okay with it and have always been since I was a kid. And The Abyss is the theatrical cut of The Abyss is a perfect example of that, where the director's cut gets super preachy. It's like the aliens are all powerful. They could have killed us at any time. They're literally just sitting down there judging us the whole time, watching our media. No, it's just like, it's more like Star Trek where they're just down there learning about us.
Yeah,
You know,
well-
I like thinking about the aliens like that rather than they are going to be the ones that wipe us out for no reason. Like, what the fuck are you even doing here? You don't have to be here, obviously. So why are you going to sit down there and judge us? Just leave.
Well,
I've never liked that whole director's cut thing because it never made good story sense to me. So
Well, then I would agree with that.
Oh,
And
okay.
I just got to
Go
do
ahead,
addendum
go
on
ahead,
his.
go ahead.
I'd be fine with that too if it's just they're studying us, but that means there's still pieces to the story. Like I don't need to understand like why they're on Earth or anything like that, but there's just pieces of the story that don't make fucking sense. Like why did they essentially like rush at this submarine and essentially help them crash if they're just exploring? Well, then, like I said, then you need to take that out because that doesn't make sense with them just being around, you know?
But I don't think they ever said they necessarily made them crash. Like it was just flying around, and the wake happened to make them crash.
But if they're so smart, like they showed they are, they knew what was going to happen. But then at the same time,
they
like
knew
I said,
that
like,
there was going to be a nuclear device sent down to them. to
no,
kill
they
them?
knew they were going to cause that sub to crash. But even if you want to go away from that, just the idea of like they're showing those messages at the end, I'm like, none of that why are you showing this messages?
That stuff, yeah,
that doesn't make sense. Like, and I'm not saying I have to understand the aliens, what their motive is, or what they're doing, but the story, the timeline of events need to line up in a way that logically makes sense, and it doesn't without that piece or something to explain why they're showing these things.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind
You
of
could literally lift the aliens out of that whole movie and still have the same movie. if
I
you
don't think
have
I
that
would
piece.
want them
I'll talk
lifted
after
completely out, but I'm on the side
He's got his piece.
of taking out more of them, especially near the end, where they became a part of the main plot. That's what I'm trying to say is like they didn't necessarily need to be a part of the main plot. They could have just been some crazy thing that they noticed down in the deep, and it could have been just stayed that
Just
way.
a plot device.
Yeah.
They kind of were a plot device because they didn't explain a lot.
Okay, and the
Tell them
last
there
thing
yet.
I want to say about
Go
that,
ahead,
and then
go
you
ahead.
could go.
I'll go.
I know you want to cut in.
Yeah.
Were they really aliens? Were they just
Atlanteans.
down there all the
That is
time?
unexplained, and I
Yeah.
love that.
And see,
I
I'm fine
love
with that. I'm fine with like maybe they weren't aliens, whatever. Like that's an unexplained piece that I'm fine with.
Yeah. Okay, go Andy.
So I thought I had the exact same thought where I was like, oh, this is just a submarine underwater thriller with nuclear weapons, Cold War tension, and without aliens involved. That's a pretty good movie in itself, well made. So I thought for me, the aliens needed a redemption of humanity arc, which just being in the last 5 minutes is a little hard to have it. Right? Like they're like, oh, you guys are terrible. But then we saw your messages and we were thinking, you're probably fine. Okay. And it's like, come on. If you could see all the TV and show everything, you saw all of humanity.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you already know it's worthy of redemption or not. Or maybe they've always thought that you're worthy of redemption, but they were just showing off, if you come mess with us, we will fucking end you. So my thought
with a nuclear device. Yeah.
my thought was that the Navy SEALs should have shot at or hurt one of the aliens with her
To cause
trying to
that
stop
conflict?
it, to create conflict of like, hey, you pull the first trigger, and then Ed Harris going and defusing a bomb that the aliens realize it's a bomb. So that makes it more of like, okay, these guys are actually trying to save us. Because be that they're aliens, a nuclear bomb still would have been a threat to them. So it should have been. I felt like that kind of plot, and then
That would have made a bit
telling
more
Ed
sense.
Harris of like, hey, we see what you did, and so we're gonna save you guys.
Just this once.
But then I don't know why in the end I still don't like the ending of like we're gonna show ourselves off to the entire world by coming
Yeah,
out.
I didn't care for
right?
that either.
I was like, why?
Fun question.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys think that bomb would have went off if Ed Harris didn't go down there and defused it?
Wait a minute. Why do
the
you think it
aliens
wouldn't have?
stopped it?
Because the aliens have they might have known what it was and already been able to take care of it.
The
And
water
they just
thing-
wanted to, and they just saw what he
Yeah.
did, and they're like, "You tried to save us. Let us save you." And because of that, let's go ahead and bring you up and like, fuck it. Let's just say, like, let's acknowledge, like, let humanity know that we exist. And so they're just like, they made that decision because of Ed Harris's
I mean,
choice.
if you're at the
I'm
point,
curious if that bomb would have went off.
if you're at the point of like saying the aliens can control water, like, okay, they probably could have
They
done
could have
something.
sent
That's all.
They could have sent the nuke right back up to them and blew them up.
And they would have been like, they're just sitting there watching, like, what are you doing, dude? We got this. It's fine. He's just like, oh.
That's another thing. The
His
amount
head
of
on the
time
rock.
he was dropping.
He's like, ah. And it's like, dude,
I would
come
love
on.
to go back and just the second he like jumps off the edge, hit a timer, and see how long that scene is until he finally gets to the bottom. It goes on for
This is
fucking
hilarious.
ever.
Oh my God, get
They're
off
like-
of it.
No, it's too long.
Why? Jesus, just get
No,
out of your phone already.
It's hilarious to me. Is like one of the aliens is watching them and is like, "Oh, look at this idiot! Oh wait, no, guys, come here. He's gonna jump off, guys. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
That was
He
what
jumped
I was
off."
thinking. It was like, well, that'd be so
And they're
funny.
like, "What do we do? He's gonna blow. He's gonna implode in like 5,000 feet." And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, just
Wait, what
protect
if he
him for
cuts
now."
the wrong wire?
Yeah.
But no, I like what you were saying because I was like, I was trying to figure out like how this story could be better. And you mentioned like essentially like a misunderstanding. Change that opening scene to where that submarine
Attack.
saw them, freaked out, and like attacked them and like shot something at them. But like, you know, say like it was like shot like a, you know, torpedo or whatever it is.
Torpedo, yeah.
And it like dodged it, and that torpedo ended up hitting something on the wall that sent down like debris, and that's what caused the submarine to crash.
I like this.
And then they're down there trying to find survivors, blah, blah, blah. And in that process, discover these aliens, creatures, whatever, you know,
That
things.
also-
And that makes the Marines go like, we're going to like get
Navy
back at them because
SEALs.
they're the one that caused this. And so they try to go at them again. And so then there becomes
Yeah.
that conflict there. And the aliens are going to start actually doing something against the humans, essentially is to protect themselves because they're going to kill
Yeah.
them. But that Ed Harris thing makes them go, it's not all of them. They're not like this, all of them. And they help save them, and they like promise to like keep their secret or something like that.
That sounds like
to me it makes it
that
better.
sounds pretty generic though. Like I like how open-ended it is, and like they might have been down there forever. They might have been looking at our media, or maybe they hadn't even looked at our media before until recently. Recent events, maybe they didn't even know that submarine would have like whatever they do has an effect on it and cause them to crash. I like that because it's open-ended. Like you don't
could've-
know. You can come up with a lot of things in your brain as to what that was. It allows the person to actually use their brain and have like, and then not be shoveled like, here's a reason for it.
I'm gonna talk
Yeah,
more
and
movies
see, I guess
here,
I'm a
'cause-
little different like that. I don't like when a storyteller is like, you know what, you make the story. I'm like, no, you're the fucking storyteller. Tell me what the story is. You can leave
No.
some like little open-ended type stuff, but
There's
like if
a
you're not
lot of
willing
story-
to give me the story,
There's a lot of story thread. The aliens barely matter. There's the main story thread was
like I
Ed
said,
Harris
you
and his
could pull
wife.
the aliens out and it doesn't.
Yeah,
See, so you could have gone. So there's
but you want more of the aliens.
there's
No, I'm saying
inspiring-
if you want the aliens there, make
it
a
make
reason.
sense. Yeah. Okay.
There's movies that inspired this. There's definitely like the ending of like Close Encounter with the Third Kind, where
I
it's
saw that
all
once when I was very young. I barely
yeah,
remember.
and
I barely remember
that
that
also
either.
has this weird ending and then big explosive of entrance of aliens, right? And there's then the Contact kind of ending where there is, which is like I think came out
I remember
later.
not liking that movie, but again, it was a
Contact
long
ending
time
is
ago.
no one knows that she's actually encountered
I didn't like it the
aliens.
first time I saw it.
I've not seen it in a long time.
I've seen it
so.
twice since, and I love it.
It's another
both
movie I'll
times.
nominate at some
one of
time.
those.
Well, I think I was
of-
like in my teens. Like I saw it when it first came out, so I probably should watch it as an adult.
So he clearly went the close encounter style of ending, where there's a big reveal of aliens to everyone, of like, and now the world has changed. What from now? And there's nothing answered about it, and it's just time goes on, and the movie ends.
Yeah, and there's no like, oh, they could kill us the whole time, or oh, it was us versus them, or like all that. I was like, that's been so done to death. I just don't want that. I get that you would want that. Like some people do want that, but for me, I'm like on The Abyss. For me, the way it's told is kind of just perfect. I do agree there is some things that could be cleaned up for the pacing and whatnot. Absolutely can't argue against that. The ending, the doofy line about like, oh, they must have done something. Like, you know, that was obviously thrown in. Somebody read the script was like, oh, fuck. You know, we got to say something here. We got to say something. But other than that, like with all the different plot points, the threads, the things that were going on, especially the time in which it was where we didn't have easy access to the internet, information, things like that. I knew nothing about like how pressure worked and anything like that. And this movie kind of like opened my eyes to that. And still, like today, it just like, I don't know, it's there's still nothing else quite like it, because everything does try to be like, and here's the aliens and they're trying to do this and they like, you know, like us versus them. And it's like, and this is like, they're just kind of like this thing that was just chilling out down here. And we accidentally ran into them. And then we tried to like and it's also trying to tell the story of like on what is a human response versus a military response. Like, how do you balance protecting yourself from the unknown versus like, hey, like, you know, they're not trying to kill us. Like, you know,
there's
right
definitely,
and it has that story thread going because there's so many story threads going on in The Abyss.
The Cold War paranoia of like, is it the Russians?
Like, if you're going to put something in a movie in your story, have there be a reason for it to be there. It's fine if you don't fully explain it. But to me, if there's no reason for it to even remotely be there, then why did you do it other than like, I think aliens are cool. Okay. But I'm like, I'm also fine with fill in the blank, because I think Inception is a fantastic fill in the blank. The way Inception ends, and it just creates this debate like, was he in the dream world? Was he not? You know, all that kind of stuff. I'm fine with that.
Did it topple or not for you?
Yeah, exactly.
No, for you.
For me, I say it toppled, because as it's spinning, you see it just kind of go like that, and then credits.
Yeah.
And you could all be like argue like, oh, it just wobbled, but it's staying up. And I was like, to me, like every time you saw it during the movie, it never even wobbled
again.
Yeah, it was like every time he threw it, it didn't wobble, and then the real like. So I'm like, no, I think it was real world. But some people say it's not, and to me, like that makes an interesting debate. I'm fine with open ending stuff like that, but it's just like when you put something in your story and there's no reason for it to be there. That's my problem. And we don't even have to have the conflict that we were mentioning. Just give me a fucking reason that they're there, other than you think aliens are cool.
They could have cut 30 to 45 minutes out, got rid of the aliens, a bunch of other stuff. They would have a fast-paced alien-style Cameron movie. They could have done that. I'm glad they didn't. I'm actually glad that is the way it is.
We're getting a little bit
I think we have two people here that we know where the vote's going.
We're getting a little bit long here, so let's go ahead. Let's start getting to votes. So, Andy, why don't you lead us in?
Okay. So clearly Cameron plays, this is the type of movie where James Cameron cares so much about, sorry, I'm not pointing at your feet.
No, I just realized my foot's right in front of you, so I figured I'd move it.
He's concentrated about the little details. So it's the kind of movie where you see that he cares. Ed Harris puts his hand in the toilet water, and then the entire movie, his hand's blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what?
No, it's not.
I
saw other times I was like, it wasn't, and then something was blue again. I was like, it wasn't blue a minute ago.
Yeah, he tried his best to keep that blue going.
Was it
But you
continuity?
can tell like he's like cares so much about. Like,
But that didn't bother me that much, though. So.
The whole like, you know, it's like it's symbology, like
So-
trying to keep his marriage together.
I'm trying to like, so there's the marriage story in there. There's the story of aliens. And then Navy SEALs worried about, you know, Cold War, Russian paranoia of like, oh my God, Russian subs are nearby. So all of these things are going on. I still think, having watched the theater cut, right? Not the extended edition, theater cut, I still think it's a cool movie because it still looks really good. The 4K Ultra HD version I saw restored, it did not look like someone tried to AI upscale it, but actually looked really good. That I can tell that it was captured on film and then translated later, so it still had all the grain and it looked
Still have
good
the grain,
that way.
yeah.
It didn't. because some movies they just like do some AI upscaling and it looks terrible. And the special effects were amazing. The story has its holes for sure, but what James Cameron movie doesn't?
T2.
Yeah, that's his rear perfect. He hit the peak and then it's like, oh no.
With
So,
T2.
T2.
What about Aliens?
Aliens is pretty good. True Lies is another movie I'll
That's
nominate
fun.
later.
That's fun.
True Lies is fun too, but he has there's still
Any movie where he's doing something technologically just out of his fucking mind, he focuses too much on the technological and wanting to show the things that he did rather than making sure it's a concise cut story.
It's like Titanic is like, I need to get through this story so I can break this boat in half. Like he's like there's some obsession with him about those things. And there's still some 90s thing of like, hey, here's how cool people in the working world talk when they're in the rig. And there's like jargon thrown like, hey man, here's the hammer, man. And like, they have all of these things going, and which to me sometimes feels a little fake. It's like, why are they so hamming it up? So those are things where I feel like
you thought drillers or like deep core like they were hamming it up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The trying to talk too much and bring everyone's personality out in the 10 seconds they were on the screen I thought was like a little too much. But overall, for me, it's still cool. Overall, because there's definitely flaws. I know my first take was also, you can take the aliens out of this movie and you can just make it an underwater thriller about defusing a nuclear bomb, and it's still really cool. So my vote is cool.
All right, Jeff, where you go, man?
All right,
get it out there.
Yeah.
I think that in this movie, there hides a movie that could, for me, be an amazing flick. But like I said, there are just too many shots that just drone on and on and on. And I don't know where we got this idea that I apparently always have my phone out when I'm watching a movie.
You told us.
You said it.
There was one movie that I found so boring that I had my phone out.
Plus,
but normally I don't.
This is also a constant thing you bring up with movies, is where you're like, you were really bored. And we're all like, what? We weren't bored. Yeah. And you're like, and then their first thought is like, well, were you on your phone or? No. Did you not get that scene because you're looking at something on your phone?
I was like, as deep as I go on movies, like there's reasons behind some of my things, but I'm like, to me, it felt more like he was like, I did this really cool thing underwater, so I'm going to make sure I take the time to show it. Versus, let's make a movie that is concise, tells a great story, but also has all this technologically cool shit we're doing. It focuses too much on the technology cool things and not enough on the let's make sure the beats are following the way the beats need to follow. So I think if somebody went out and reworked all the footage into a movie that was probably easily 25, 30 minutes shorter than the theatrical cut, I think you can come out with a movie that would probably impress everyone. Regardless of whether they're like me and want a concise story or not. There's the meat is there. I just don't feel it was executed very well. So because of that, it made me not enjoy the movie and not really ever want to watch it again, but I had to watch it again for this. But luckily I watched the theatrical cut, so it was 30 minutes shorter. So for me, it's absolutely nostalgia. But with the grain of salt that if somebody did a new cut of this, you could have a movie that I would call cool.
All right, Monaghan.
I'll go, and because then you're like kind of the more new guy on it. We'll have you go.
Because he's
mysterious.
the wild card.
You don't know which way I'm going.
I don't know where he's going.
See, me, I'm the exact opposite. If this movie was made today, somebody would probably recut it. The Marvelification of movies would recut it, throw in all these clips. You would have all those same people that you're talking about, where like they're hamming it up. It would be even worse. They would have all these quippy shit. going on in the movie. I absolutely love the fact that he took his time. Like, there are many threads in this movie. When I think about the Abyss, I don't think about the aliens. I don't think about just the Navy SEALs. I don't think about the nuclear bomb. I don't think about the Cold War threat. I think about all of it, because all of it had enough time to breathe. Everything was given just enough time to let that piece of the story, in my opinion, actually just kind of work. So I've seen this movie a lot of times throughout the years. And it's kind of one of those where I feel like, as far as like sci-fi or underwater fire, whatever you want to call it, it's almost perfect in a movie that will never get made today in a Marvel era, with people that are like, like, oh, this movie's too, like, I'm not making fun of you, but I'm like,
like,
it's
people
this,
like you.
we got to go, people. Like stuff like that, where they can't go like 5 minutes without like, being like, oh, I wonder why that is, or that's actually pretty cool, but I am also the type, and mind you, and that's the reason why I'm saying I'm not making fun of you or anybody else out there. I'm also the type that also reads sci-fi, like Alastair Reynolds, who does hard sci-fi, where you have very much a story about people, but then you get all the science around it, and everything is real, like time dilation and all kinds of stuff that actually matters. And if you went traveling, you would literally be like thousands of years into the future, essentially, from where you left, and how that factors into society and stuff like that. And I love stuff like that. And The Abyss isn't quite like that, but at least it has like a lot of those things where it is sort of open-ended. It's allowed to like put at least a little bit of a light on all those pieces of the story. And I thought they hit the dramatic beats right. I know you didn't like the scene in the, and I get that. I actually agree. Like, realistically, absolutely would have done the same thing. Absolutely. However, for the dramatical part of it, he doesn't want, like, he literally threw his ring in the toilet, turned his hand blue. They show that the whole movie. He did not, like, she chose to die because that's who she is.
Divorce movie.
She chose to leave again. She chose to die in front of him. And that sort of thread is like you don't see that in movies, where you actually allow the audience to see that and then maybe pick up on it and understand it. It's not spoon fed to him. It's not some quippy line give to him. It isn't the total, like, 90% of the storyline focus. It was just a thread. So I absolutely love that. I love that it was allowed to breathe. I am not the biggest fan of the director's cut, because I don't like the ending. I like the aliens, or whatever they are, just being like, they're chill. They're not there to judge us. They're not there to destroy us. They saw a dude try to help them. They brought him up in the only way they knew how, maybe. I don't know. They might not have had a vessel. They might not even understood until recently. Maybe they didn't even know we were there. I don't know, but I love those questions. I love stuff like that. So it makes me super happy. So I think the movie is pretty great. Definitely cool. Not nostalgic. So
two things I popped in my
You
head
have
that I
to
wanted
say
to say.
something.
No. Not disagreeing with like he has his opinion. I have my opinion, but I thought it was funny. I meant to say this earlier. I forgot. If he worked that rig. Again, this is to me a story issue. I get the symbolism of like, I'm throwing away my ring. But you know damn well you flush that fucking ring, you're going to fuck something up in the plumbing. You'd be smart enough to not do that.
You ever been in a camper? Just go in a tank and go in like one of the Blackwater tanks.
And you're making it, but it's also making an assumption you're assuming there's not anything being filtered in there.
They'd have the filter just for everything else.
I'm sure something's being filtered for the water. So when he flushes that, there's going to get caught in the filter. It's going to cause a clog. Anyways, there's that part. There was that one.
I'm pretty
issue.
sure engineers would have factored in something falling in that.
Wait, maybe that's why he took it back out.
There would have been like a trap or something like that. So
there was that one issue that I thought. Well, that ring.
That was an issue you had.
Hold on, that ring can stop a door that's meant to be like sealed to prevent water pressure. You don't think it's going to fuck up their plumbing?
You watched this movie with hate in your heart.
Like not the first time.
Absolutely.
Not the first time. The second
Watch
time,
this
maybe.
movie with hate in your heart.
Next point.
My other thing was like, I just wanted to call, like, you talk about like how long the movie is. It's not an issue with the length of the movie. It's the perception of time.
I get that.
Because to me, I'm like, there's movies that are way longer.
It's why you don't talk about 3 hour. You talk about pacing and
yeah.
not length.
Yeah.
And to me, I think it was paced perfectly for somebody like me. So I get that it does run a little long, but a lot of his stuff runs long. A lot of movies do run a little long.
The time
and
in
I agree,
the movie,
I agree it could be tightened up.
Yeah.
No, the time in the movie is over 12 hours or something. That's it, right? It's not that long.
Something like that.
It's pretty short.
But the time with them like doing stuff and talking to each other and all like breathing between the people, having those moments with people, I'm fine with. It's like some of the underwater scenes where he just like lets it drag and
But
drag
that's
and drag.
what's cool, man.
That's where it gets tense.
No, it's just that's
cool.
my issue.
I get
So
I
anyways,
would love to see another movie that is all about tension and see what your thoughts are. Again, I'm trying to think. Of
give me a
one.
movie.
We'll come back to that
Uncut
later.
Gems.
But yeah,
don't bring
haven't
Marvel
seen that.
Vacation
I
to me.
haven't seen that.
All those
Let me
movies
see.
I showed you that I think are amazing movies, none of them are like that. But anyways, go ahead.
So throwing to the deuce, since you're the newest person who's seen this,
I get to be the judge.
give us the gut reaction. Judge.
I will
You
either
watched
be the
it.
odd man out or he's going to give it a 50-50 shot here. I think I know where it's going
Give us
to
a
go.
gut reaction first, because I know we spoke a lot and swayed and then dissected the story and broke it apart.
I think you've talked.
My-
about
my
When
gut-
you watched it, what did you feel?
My
when
gut
you finished?
reaction, it was cool.
Okay.
I mean, it was very enjoyable to watch. Now, gut reaction aside, the funny thing is, you don't really care much about critics, but you seem to agree very much with the original critics
Really?
that watched the movie.
Oh, it was
It
trash.
was very
Really?
very mixed reviews, and most of the negative reviews said things just like how you said about how like the ending didn't make sense, the scenes were too long, the payoff was dumb, like they didn't need the aliens. All these things were things that critics were saying when the movie came out. So
Wow.
that was kind of funny.
That is kind of funny
Yeah.
because usually I think their critics are
I actually never even
way
knew
off.
what the-
This is the one time they've been right on the money.
Yeah.
I never knew what the critics even said about.
I
this.
tried
That's-
to not look at the critics to
Yeah.
not influence me for this movie, but that is quite hilarious to think.
But yeah. And the funny thing is, audiences though back then did like it pretty well. But the weird thing is, they didn't really come to the theater in droves to see this. Apparently, this was one of James Cameron's least
Moderate.
successful films.
It was not marketed very well.
Yeah, and I think it probably was a marketing thing.
It was not marketed very well. Like I remember it coming out, and I was a kid that was pretty connected to movies at that point in time, and I remember it just kind of showing up one day and be like, "What's The Abyss?" Didn't know, but then after watching it, and then of course seeing the making of, I was all in on it.
Yeah. And I think I have gripes with the film too. I mean, like I said, the beginning of the film, I mean, up until the SEAL showed up and we're like in this ship with them, like none of it made sense to me. I was so confusing. Like her showing up in a suit and then all of a sudden not being in a suit, and like they're buddy and like, oh, she's actually his wife, and then like all that stuff was like, it was not explained very well to me, which is funny because you don't like the exposition. But like
it
for
was
me, I
explained
almost feel like it needs a little bit more there.
though, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I-
yeah,
I-
there's
I
that
did
She just
get
showed
it.
up like, I'm your wife and I'm mad because you took my ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, everyone
Yeah.
pondered the bitches here.
It's the
everyone
difference of
said
show, don't tell. There's exposition and then there's an exposition dump. That's the problem. Exposition
Yeah.
dumps are the problem.
Yeah, no, I actually totally agree with that. But the beginning just really, it didn't grab me at all. But the middle of the film was to me, was phenomenal. Like all the underwater scenes and how much tension, there were like so much tension. People almost drowning, people actually drowning, the scary scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was
What
just.
was your thought in the pool when the Navy SEAL, what's his face from Terminator, Michael Biehn,
Michael Biehn
character,
guy, yeah.
and he was sitting there, and he's
Property.
obviously messed up,
Oh,
and
with
he's
the chain.
just
One of my
doing
crazy-
the chains like that.
I think
that is
the-
one of the most tense parts of that whole movie, and I
That's when you know,
love it.
he's
See,
lost
that
his
one's
mind.
paced
Yeah.
very well
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they let the silence sit as he's like slowly coming up out of the water and
Mhm.
trying not to be heard.
And he's
That's
even that little detail of him like he's even
he's like shaking as he's trying to
stop
that
So good.
that one has it lets the
But
silence sit.
There,
but, yeah.
I still think that scene was ruined by what's his name, the country guy showing up out of nowhere, and
Hammer.
punching him and just taking him out. Like,
That's the payoff. I knew the hammer was going to show up.
Well, I mean, it didn't make sense for Ed Harris without an advantage anymore to take on a Navy SEAL.
I
combat.
guess so.
It
I guess
absolutely
so.
didn't. So I get it. It's what a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah,
The
it seemed
dude
a little
showed
bit
up.
of
They were
kinda
like,
out of
once they're on
nowhere.
even ground.
Even though he wasn't out of nowhere,
Yeah.
he was around. But like, I get that. But like, it made sense because there's no way Ed Harris is going to take out a Navy SEAL. Like even with him fucked up like that, he was aware. He knew what he was doing. He was armed. Like he was, no, that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. And that one didn't bother me actually that much because like he already went to that like halfway point or whatever with him, and he's like, I can't do it. I'm gonna go back. Logically, to me, somebody would be like, no, I can't leave. Sitting there by himself, like I can't just leave him. I can't leave him by himself. No, I just gotta. I gotta go help. So like to me, him showing up made sense.
Yeah, I thought the opposite. And so like,
so you're saying if your friend was going on, you'd be like, fuck him. I'm going back to safety.
well, man, I wouldn't.
Might be sitting there just having,
you wouldn't second guess
having a hot cocoa or whatever. Be like, man, I hope that moment,
character's fine. The Hammer guy or whoever his name was acted the heck out of that scene when they come up to that little hatch and he's crying almost like, I can't cope with you, man. Like he did a whole lot of acting.
Yeah, I thought, okay, he's out of it now. He's totally out. I mean, and of course they're trying to lead you that way.
Sorry, I interrupted your review with that.
Right.
Because that scene, that tension, you brought that up. And I'm just like, oh, God, I just remember how good that was.
I mean, I think seriously, the movie is this weird sandwich of like not so great beginning, freaking amazing middle. I know you didn't like some of the scenes, Jeffrey, but like I loved those long scenes with the whole like tension building and all that. You don't know when someone's going to run out of air or when something bad's going to happen. And a lot of times something bad never happened, but the whole time you're thinking something bad's going to happen. I freaking loved that. And then the ending that made no sense. It was so abrupt, and there didn't seem to be a reason why a lot of the things in the ending had to happen. So I am actually very personally conflicted on how I want to vote about this movie. However, I am a freaking sucker for stories that take place underwater.
Okay.
So we got a little bias going
Under
on.
the sea.
Like Little Mermaid,
Little Mermaid.
BioShock.
Wait, you've probably never seen Hunt for Red October, have you?
Oh, I haven't.
Okay.
I gotta see it
Have
now.
you seen
I
it?
haven't seen it
know.
either, so
I've read
I'll
the
be
book.
with him if
Maybe
we do this
do
for
an
podcast.
underwater.
That's a book, too.
That'd be it's a book. Okay. Anyway,
So for that reason, I can't in good conscience vote nostalgia on this one. I'm gonna go with Cole.
Fucking called it.
Yay.
Before you were going, I was like, I'm gonna be the odd man out on this.
I was close, but I have to say.
But I mean, like anyone, like I think you guys have picked up by now. To me, my number one in any fucking movie is story.
well,
and
you're very
if I had-
particular
if you're
your
about the
particular
science
version of how a
stories.
story should be told.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm also very much story. I love sitting there and critiquing and picking that stuff apart. But you've got your way that you want it. You want everything to be paced correctly or paced within very snappy like that.
No, that doesn't
And
be
I'm
snappy
more
at
okay
all.
with breathing.
Does
And
not have
this
to be
definitely
snappy at all.
sounds like it.
No.
Okay, you're
Like I
just
said, like just think of that. Like I would love to go back and sit through one of these scenes that I'm talking about, and sit there and just click a timer. And when it's done,
But then you're just
hold on.
need a timer.
Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
finish with
you're
my
just-
thought.
you're just-
Let me finish my thought. And then when it's done, click it again. And then I'll ask you, how long was that scene? You give me a time, and then I'll show you what it actually
It's
is.
about the whole.
One that, like the one where he's falling down, that feels like it's 20 fucking minutes. So I'm like,
it's probably 2. But to you, it might
Well,
feel like 20 minutes.
Folks at home. So Jeffrey has another channel where he literally tells you how to fix a movie. So it's in nature.
I played around with that, and I was like, oh, let's see if I want to do this, and I changed my mind. But yeah, there is an episode of where I fixed Deadpool and Wolverine in my opinion.
Because you'll end up running into assholes like me and be like, no, you're a fucking idiot. Your fix sucks.
And that's fine. We're entitled to our opinion.
Actually, that would be good engagement.
I'm more sucker for atmosphere and visuals. So I will enjoy a very visually good movie, even though the story is just there to get you to the next visual, which a lot of movies are like that. But I still enjoy the movie just because it looks really cool. So I'm not the most, but this might be the first podcast that we really broke the story down for beat to beat of like what worked and didn't work and try to remake it. So, which is cool, which is worth it, because you can get distracted by the visuals of everything that's happening. I hope we don't do an Avatar movie because that would be a massacre. But I'm going to try to round this off now. That's our episode about The Abyss. We went a little more technical.
That movie is very
stuff.
aptly named.
We went pretty deep with the abyss.
We went deep down into that abyss.
It feels like you're in an abyss watching it.
You're more like a bitch watching it.
Maybe so.
A stone cold.
As long as I don't want to watch it again, we good.
So
He's like, where was I?
Where was I?
And it's just like, please, guys, shut the fuck up.
no, this is great. This is great. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe. If you want to watch other movies broken down differently, because we take different styles and different approaches and surprises everywhere about who picks what, go watch our channel for other stuff.
And I very much want people to reply in the comments how they felt about the length of the film. Because seriously, like, am I the minority? Because in this grouping here, I am. Like, everyone voted cool, and I'm saying nostalgia because it just felt like it's too long because I get pulled out of the movie. So am I the odd one out with our audience, or does our audience split that way? I'm curious about the split in the real world of how people actually feel about this movie.
No, I want
As
to
if
know
this is
too.
a fake world.
Because every moment I was trying to think,
Everything's
how did he
AI
make that
generated.
shot? Because it looks real. So he really made it. How did he do it? But yeah, this was a fun episode. So let's meet Andy.
Jeffrey.
Michael.
And the deuce.
The deuce.
Later.
All right. See ya.
Bye, everybody.